Hello students, today we are going to learn a new chapter, that is a functional hardware parts of PC. And our new topic is DMA. It stands for Direct Memory Access. DMA is a method of transferring data from the computer's RAM to another part of the computer without processing it using the CPU. While most data that is input or output from your computer is processed by the CPU, some data does not require processing or can be processed by another device. In these situations, DMA can save processing time and is a more efficient way to move data from the computer's memory to other devices. For example, a sound card may need to access data stored in the computer's RAM. But since it can process the data itself, it may use DMA to bypass the CPU. Video cards that support DMA can also access the system memory and process graphics without needing the CPU. Ultra DMA hardware drives use DMA to transfer data faster than previous hard drives that required the data to first be run through the CPU. In order for devices to use a direct memory access, they must be assigned to a DMA channel. Each type of port on a computer has a set of DMA channels that can be assigned to each connected devices. For example, a PCI controller and a hard drive controller each have their own set of DMA channels. The data transfer between a fast storage media such as a magnetic disk and memory unit is limited by the speed of the CPU. Thus, we can allow the peripherals directly communicate with each other using the memory buses, removing the intervention of the CPU. This type of data transfer technique is known as DMA or Direct Memory Access. During DMA, the CPU is idle and it has no control over the memory bus. The DMA controller takes over the buses to manage the transfer directly between the input-output devices and the memory unit. So, what do you mean by a bus request? It is used by the DMA, that is Direct Memory Access controller, to request the CPU to relinquish the control of the buses. Now, what are the basic operations of DMA? When the processor wishes read or send a block of data, it issues a command to the DMA module by sending some information to DMA module. The information includes read or write command, sending through read and write control lines, number of words to be read or written, communicated on the data lines and stored in the data count register, starting location in memory, to read from or write to, communicated on data lines and stored in the address register. address of the input-output device involved communicated on the data lines. After the information are sent, the processor continues with the other work. The DMA module then transfers the entire block of data directly to or from memory without going through the processor. When the transfer is complete, the DMA module sends an interrupt signal to the processor to inform that it has finished using the system bus.